Hi everyone, I'm Mark Cabaniss, and I'll bet you know that was a bit of 76 trombones from the immortal Broadway show The Music Man, created by Meredith Willson. I'm a music man too, fortunately not like Professor Harold Hill, but a music publisher, composer, broadcaster, and playwright here in Nashville. I've been inspired by several key mentors in my life to do what I do, but my most inspiring mentor of them all was and is Meredith Willson. But more on that later. I'm thrilled that the Music Man Foundation and Meredith Willson Music, along with the Great American Songbook Foundation, have given me the honor to tell you a bit about Meredith. He is certainly known the world over as the one who wrote the book, music, and lyrics for the beloved musical The Music Man. There are actually very few individuals in Broadway history who have, by themselves, written the book, music, and lyrics for a Broadway show, and Meredith is a part of that very exclusive club. But Meredith was no overnight success or one-hit wonder with The Music Man. He was one of the most popular and acclaimed songwriters, conductors, arrangers, and radio TV personalities of the 20th century. Meredith Willson was born in Mason City, Iowa in 1902, and Mason City became River City, the fictional town in The Music Man. Growing up in Mason City, Meredith's mama taught him piano, and he was in the school band playing flute and piccolo. After high school, he packed his bags and went to New York City. There he enrolled at the Damrosch Institute of Musical Art, now known worldwide as the Juilliard School. After college, he traveled the United States with famed bandmaster composer John Philip Sousa as a valued member of the Sousa Band. Next, Meredith became a performer in the New York Philharmonic under the baton of legendary conductor Arturo Toscanini. This led to conducting symphony orchestras himself, composing symphonies of his own, composing an Academy Award-nominated film score, and writing pop songs that rose to #1 on the hit parade. He also wrote several successful books, weaving in stories of his hometown, Mason City. In his late 20s, Meredith became involved in radio and eventually became the West Coast musical director for NBC. He developed a successful career in radio and soon hosted his own shows, Sparkle Time, Meredith Willson's Music Room, and The Meredith Willson Show. He later became a regular cast member and music director of hit radio shows such as The George Burns and Gracie Allen Show and The Big Show, starring Tallulah Bankhead. For those shows, he arranged, conducted, and wrote music for a who's who of the world's most beloved stage and film stars of the 20th century. And on those shows, he often shared funny stories about growing up in Iowa. Through his work in music and broadcasting, he became good friends with Frank Loesser, who of course was a legendary writer of Broadway musicals in his own right. It was Frank who encouraged Meredith to turn the stories of his Iowa childhood into a musical comedy. And the rest, as they say, is musical theater history. The Music Man opened on Broadway in December 1957 to rapturous reviews and a smash hit run, to say nothing of the international productions, road tours, an Academy Award-winning film version, Broadway revivals, a television film version, and countless productions in stock and amateur theaters. And the innovative speak singing he used in numbers like Rock Island and You Got Trouble was really the first rap on Broadway, long before the groundbreaking Hamilton came along. Meredith then wrote two more big Broadway shows, The Unsinkable Molly Brown and Here's Love, now titled Miracle on 34th Street, the Musical. Time limits me telling you about the many other awards Meredith received during his lifetime, but I'll say two of them came from sitting United States presidents. In 1999, the U.S. Postal Service honored Meredith posthumously by putting his picture on a postage stamp. On the campus of the Juilliard School sits the Meredith Willson Residence Hall due to a generous gift from his estate. Also on the Juilliard campus is the Rosemary and Meredith Willson Theater, a performance space appropriate for recitals, concerts, and theatrical events. As you can tell, I'm very enthusiastic about Meredith Willson. And that's because, as I said earlier, his career has been a great inspiration to me throughout mine. He showed me that if one puts their mind to it and sees the band, as it were, dreams can come true. He blended his passions in writing music and books, broadcasting, theater, conducting, and more, all with a homegrown authenticity. And although I unfortunately never met Meredith personally, I did have the great honor of visiting with his widow, Rosemary, in their home a few years after he had passed away. She told me wonderful first-hand stories of Meredith, and I continued my connection with her until she passed away. One of the most memorable things she said to me was that Meredith was as warm in private as he was in public. And in addition to his true genius, that to me was one of his most endearing traits. Meredith Willson will always live on through his music and lyrics, and most certainly his greatest work ever, The Music Man. I encourage you to visit meredithmusicman.com to learn more about this amazing person. Meredith, if you're listening somewhere out there in the great beyond, we say thank you for sharing your incredible gifts with the world. It was never as happy a place in many ways till there was you.